Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3. If you have been following along, you already know how to identify the right project approach from a scenario, and you know exactly what to do the moment a CCB stamps its approval on a change request. Those are two genuinely powerful tools in your exam toolkit. Now we are moving into the heart of planning itself, scope management. And this episode is where a lot of candidates either pull ahead or fall behind, because scope questions on the PMP exam have a very particular trap built into them. Take a look at today's focus, 3 objectives, and think of each one as a layer of armor you are putting on before you walk into the exam room. The first layer: master the correct order of scope management steps. Not just knowing what they are, but knowing the exact sequence they belong in, like knowing the combination to a lock. The second layer: understand why the WBS comes right after the scope statement, why this specific step at this specific moment and no other. The third layer, and this is the one that, separates passing candidates from failing ones: learn how to avoid out-of-sequence errors on the PMP exam. PMI loves to build questions where every single answer option describes a perfectly legitimate project management action. Nothing is obviously wrong. The only difference between the correct answer and the 3 traps is when each action belongs in the sequence. Get the order wrong and you lose the point, even if you knew every concept on the list. So today, we're not just learning what these steps are, we're learning exactly where they live in the process. Let's step into the scenario. Here's your scenario. Read every word carefully because the details are doing all the work. You are managing a project to develop a new mobile application. Your current status: the scope management plan has been created. All customer requirements have been gathered and documented. And here's the milestone: the project scope statement is completed and approved. Picture that moment. You've just closed the cover on a formally signed scope statement. Every deliverable is described, every boundary of the project is defined. The document is done, approved, and sitting on your desk. You are standing at a precise fork in the road. And the question is this: what is the next step to prepare for project execution? 4 options are in front of you. And remember, all 4 of these are real, legitimate project management actions. That's exactly what makes this question dangerous. Let's walk through each one and understand not just whether it's right or wrong, but why it belongs or doesn't belong at this specific moment. And that distinction matters enormously on the exam. Option A: develop the schedule. Imagine trying to build a timeline for a project when all you have is a high-level description of the end result. You know you need to deliver a mobile application, but you haven't yet broken that down into the individual tasks and work packages that make up the actual work. How do you estimate how long something will take if you don't even know what the specific granular pieces are? How do you sequence dependencies between tasks that haven't been identified yet? Building a schedule at this point would be like trying to lay bricks before you've drawn the architectural plan. The foundation is missing. Developing the schedule is jumping the gun entirely, and the exam will penalize you for it. Option B: conduct scope validation. This one requires you to know your process groups cold. Scope validation is a monitoring and controlling process. Visualize what it looks like. The project is winding down, a phase is completing, and the project sponsor or customer is sitting across the table, formally inspecting and accepting the finished deliverables. That's scope validation. It's a handshake at the finish line, not a planning activity at the starting blocks. In our scenario, we haven't written a single line of code. We haven't executed a single task. We're still, deep in the planning phase. Conducting scope validation right now would be like arriving at the ceremony before the work has even begun. Completely incorrect and confidently eliminated. Option C, identify project risks. Now, this is where the question gets genuinely tricky, because risk identification is not wrong. It's actually something you do continuously throughout the entire project lifecycle. So why is it not the right answer here? Because the question is asking for the immediate next step in the scope management sequence. Think of it like building a house. Before you can identify risks related to the plumbing, the electrical work, or the structural integrity, you first need the architectural blueprint that tells you exactly what is being built and how. In project terms, that blueprint is the WBS. We need to finalize the scope baseline before we can perform a truly comprehensive risk analysis on the specific work packages involved. Risk identification is important, but it's not next. Not yet. Option D, create the WBS. The WBS. Take that approved scope statement, that high-level description of everything the project must deliver, and place it at the very top of a tree. Now you start breaking it down. The mobile application becomes its core modules. Each module breaks down into features. Each feature breaks down into individual tasks and work packages, the smallest, most manageable units of work that can be assigned to a team member, estimated for cost, and plotted on a schedule. This is decomposition in action. This is the WBS. And this is exactly what needs to happen the moment your scope statement is approved. The scope statement tells you what the project delivers. The WBS tells you how that work is broken down and organized. One cannot exist in a functional planning process without the other following immediately behind it. Option D is our answer.
Step 6. The scope baseline is complete. And here is where everything converges. The approved scope statement, the WBS, and the WBS dictionary come together, 3 documents locking arms to form your scope baseline. This is not just a formality. This is the measuring stick for the entire project. Every decision about scope change, every moment of scope validation, every conversation about whether the project is delivering what was promised, it all comes back to this baseline. Picture it as the DNA of your project. Alter it without formal change control, and you introduce mutations, small at first, then cascading, that quietly corrupt your schedule, your budget, and your team's direction. That is scope creep. And a locked, formally approved scope baseline is the only thing standing between a well-managed project and that slow, invisible disaster. Great job making it through episode 3. You now own the scope management sequence, not just the names of the steps, but the logic behind their order, and the ability to recognize when the exam is trying to sell you a step that belongs somewhere else in the timeline. That kind of sequencing instinct is exactly what separates candidates who pass from candidates who almost pass. In episode 4, we are stepping into one of the most financially charged scenarios on the exam. Picture this. You are deep into execution, your team is building, and then a key stakeholder walks through the door with a list of brand new features that were never part of the original scope, and the price tag will shatter your budget. The question is not whether to panic. The question is, which reserve do you reach for and why? We are going to draw a sharp, clear line between contingency reserves and management reserves, what they are, when they apply, and how to tell them apart in 4 seconds on exam day. It's a distinction that trips up even experienced project managers, and it's one you absolutely cannot afford to get wrong. I will see you in episode 4. Keep focusing, stay committed, and keep going.